Today I'm going to show you how to make a valance. Now I've shown you how to do a valance already, but this valance is different. This valance is with some tails joined onto it and some swags coming down the center here. So we're going to do this all in one course, and this here at the top is just pencil pleat. It looks like it's puffed out, but really it's pencil pleat. Now this is just going to be gathered up, and here in the picture it's giving you the effect as though it is pleated over. Now once you've used pencil pleat, unless you've pleated up the top, it's virtually impossible to get that effect really. So that this picture is deceiving. So I know before I've started that you will not see the contrasting color behind. You will not. And if I was to wanted to see this, I'd have to pleat each section first, then gather it, and then once you've done that, because this is a heavy fabric which I'll be using, it will be really bulky up the top. So you will see. So in between now, on this person's window, I'm going to be putting wooden blinds, and they're having white wooden blinds, Venetian blinds here. I've got 4 curtains here, but I'm not actually going to do 4 curtains because my sample overlayers, this is the one I found with, I didn't have one with 2 curtains, with just a pair of curtains. So here on the window, it's a bay window I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to, and you will see this when I finished. So I'm going to have the wooden blind. These look like pleated, these look like Roman blinds, but I'm actually using wooden blinds. And then I'm going to have, I'm only going to have a pair of curtains. So these ones aren't going to be there. And then I'm going to make the valance, which is what today it's all about. Let's remove this now, because you see what it's going to look like. So let me remove this, and you see just the valance. So today that is what I'm going to make. So I will proceed. Now I'm going to show you what the fabric is I'm using. That's the fabric. You're looking at it upside down at the moment. I've already made the curtain. And you've seen me make the curtain so many times. But I just wanted to show you what the fabric is like. And this is upside down at the moment. And here are her tassels. So it's going to look gorgeous. So that's one window, and this is the dining room that I'm doing, and then I'll be doing the living room as well, and she'll be having swags and tails in the living room. So we will proceed with this. That is today's lesson. Let me tell you a bit more about this. The tail I'm going to have, I think it's going to finish at 44 inches. The curtain, I've made it to 88 inches, so that my tails are going to be half the curtain, which is 44. This section here, it's going to be roughly around 14 inches, and then it's going to sweep up roughly around 10 inches. Now I do have a little bit of a problem on the customer's window, whereby on the section of these windows the frame comes down and it shows. Now I'm not in the habit of taking away people's light, so what I'm going to do is at one point you will see a little bit of the frame, which it cannot be helped. If I wanted not to show the frame, then I would have to make these a lot more longer, and if I made it a lot more longer, I'll be definitely taking away the light. But I hope that because it's only this is 4 inches going up there, 4 inches from the incline, I hope it does make a difference and shows that there is meant to be a curve of swag effect. And we'll see. If it isn't, then it's either you bring this down longer and that shorter. But that's what we're going to do. And the overall width of this is 97 inches. And the board is up here. This return is 6 inches return at the side. And this bit here is going to be held on with tape. Now there's a special tape for this. Let me show you this tape. This tape is a 3-inch tape. 3-inch tape, and each one of these is fabric here. By the time you gather this up, this acts as though it's Velcro, so it's the receiving end. This receives the rough end, so it sticks onto the Velcro. So this tape is more or less it's pencil pleat tape, but it doesn't actually have a name for it. So, but that's what to look out for. All these pockets here. By the time they're gathered up together, it acts like a Velcro. And this goes onto the wood. So that's the tape we're using today. Now we have the fabric the right way up. So this is the top and that's the bottom. And what we're going to do first of all, I'm going to cut out, this is for the tail. So I need, say, roughly 6-inch return for the tail. So let's say 6 and 6 is 12. So 12 inches to gather up. That is the return here. And we've got that amount for the tail going up. So I am going to make sure the pattern repeat is the same. So I'm going to put this on top first to make sure it's the same and the right way up. And then I'm going to flip it to make sure that I've got mirror image. So here we have the pattern repeat there. And to show you, this fabric wastes a lot. This fabric is a 47 centimeters wastage. What I'd like to do is, from my pattern here to be the top and 44 inches, what I'd like to do is I'd like to have my pencil pleat starting with the top, so you see these point at the top. So that'd be nice. But what happened is all this fabric will be wasted, all this above fabric. But the one underneath now, it starts there, it interferes, so the top bit of this will be cut off. So what do I do about that? Do I disregard this one underneath and try and get them all the same? Yes, for continuity, so that it looks nice. Right, let me move this out the way. I'm so sorry, I didn't realise. Right, so as I said before, what do I do? What we do is we pay attention to details, right? So I would like this bow, this pattern here, my line to start up the top here, but the one underneath doesn't quite make it. So it's either I disregard that and just cut it, or there's always something when you say, what is it about that thing? Why do I like it? Or is it, what is it about that? Why don't I like it? It's because somewhere along the line, the pattern is playing with your eyes and you don't like it. So the pattern has gone off. To over exaggerate, here's the pattern. and you're looking at it, but over exaggerate it, it's not straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the one underneath. I'm going to waste that. I'm going to use it for something else, and to make sure that my pattern here starts at the top, I'm going to make sure I'll give that a 2-inch extra up the top. So cut this off, waste this bit here, start my pattern, so my pencil pleat will be here and it will look beautiful. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's what's called paying attention to details. Here's another tip. As you can see, I reeled this out because what I did is when I made the curtain, I made one pair of curtain and I've got to make another pair of curtain, but the suppliers didn't have enough fabric. So in order for me to carry on with my work, I cut out X amount of drops that I needed. Now you could always forget, well, at what point did I stop? Where did I do the patterns for the pattern repeats? So what I've done here is I cut out the next section, and hopefully that the next batch of fabric, that the colours will actually not be far off, so it would be able to look the same. But what I have done is, this is my template for the next curtain, which has got 6 joinings in it, which is a patio door. And to make sure that this curtain looks the same as the other curtain, because one's in the living room and one's in the dining room, I cut one at the length that I wanted. So this becomes my template, and it goes on to the next, onto the fabric when it comes, and I know exactly where the patterns have started. So I match it up with this one, and then by the time I finish, both curtains will look the same. So that's a little tip, right? If you have that, if you're faced with a situation like I am, and I don't have enough fabric and I'm going to need to, make sure you cut your template out so they're both the same. So that's this one, and because I remembered, I made sure I didn't cut it up as well. So I'm now going to put this aside. Right, so here's my pattern. My pattern is 44. So what I'm going to do now, this is safe. That's my pattern. I've got 2 inches up here for allowing to turn under. Right? But each time I cut what I want, I waste quite a lot at the top. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to make use of my fabric. I'm going to make use of my fabric and don't waste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the pattern at the bottom here, so that by the time I cut down here, the next bit can go straight up here and everything will be fine. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got to analyze this. I've got to work things out so that I don't waste too much fabric. So my pattern repeat is that little leaf there. So I'll go to the next little leaf, which is there, and that is where I'm going to keep on cutting. And then the next time, every one of my pattern should fit up here. So that's what I'm going to do, because this is silly. And you've got to have some consideration for your customers. I've got the 2 tails now. Now I need the bits in the center. I need 4 drops. I need 4 drops. Once again, I still have to match the fabric up. Now that should match perfectly. No waste there. And we've got a flaw in this fabric. Look at that. There's a flaw in the fabric. Okay, let's leave it at that. So I'm going to cut 5 of these. 14 inches is the drop. There we have 14 inches. So from that point to there, that's 14 inches, so I'm clear. Now the pattern repeat starts here, once again. So we'll do the same. So I'm going to cut it right there, and I will be safe. So that will allow for my seam allowance as well. So that's fine. I can hear you all saying, ah, she hasn't measured it. I've had this in the past. I love fabric that's got patterns in it. But once they've got patterns in it and I've done my calculation, I can rely on the patterns. And as I said to you before, I wanted the tip of that flower effect to be all along the edge. So what I'm doing now is making sure that I've added on the extra inch, but what I've done is I've gone above it and I've got the leaves. So I use that as my paying attention to the finer details. So when I turn this over, you will see exactly what I mean. Do you remember I stitched the 3-inch tape, the pencil pleat tape on top of it, the lining? So when I ripped it off, I would have had those stitching marks there. The ironing helps to get rid of it. Not only that, because the fabric is over it now, you can't see where I put the stitching in the first place. So it's all gone. And it was at the top here as well, so it's gone now. So nothing to indicate what I did and how I did it. Can you see at the top the point of what I wanted? They're all there in line, and that tells me that it's straight. So I don't really need to go pretending that I'm going to be measuring the top to get it straight. And as far as I'm concerned, you won't get it straight all the time anyway by measuring. But if you follow the pattern, at least that will be straight. And they are. They're exact. I can't say more. I'm not steaming, I'm allowing the iron to steam itself. This is almost like velvet. You can see the ironing mark, that's why I'm afraid to iron it. But when I get to the customer's house, I get my big steamer out and I give it a good old steam and set the pleats. Fantastic. Now I finish the dining room curtains. These are Valance and they are shaped as the customer required. They look beautiful. I can't wait myself to see the whole thing in its environment with the wooden blinds, Venetian blinds, and the curtains just draped up round the dining room window. Exquisite. I'll move on to the next subject now. Thank you for watching my show. Oh, let me get the curtains and show you, because I never did show you the curtains. They are enormous. Right. That's one. And get the other side. Here are the curtains. Here's something I made earlier. And now I'm putting them all together. So this weekend it should be hanging up. Thank you for watching my show. Yes, hello. So here we are once again. As you can see, you saw the making of the lining, and now, as I said, the lining and the main fabric is going to merge together, and here you now see it on the actual window. Right now we have the owner of the curtain standing right next to me. Her name is Ginny, and I'd like to ask her, what does she feel about her curtains?
I just love them. They're absolutely gorgeous, well made, painstakingly put up. I'm so impressed.
Yes. Where did you actually hear about me, or where